Hey everyone, it's Manav, and in today's video we'll be talking about how to scale your info product business so fast it feels illegal. Why can I talk about this? Booked calls, booked calls, booked calls, booked calls with just 20 subscribers. Inbound DMs, inbound DMs, inbound DMs with just 20 subscribers, right? And the thing is, like, no one was talking about it, which is why I wanted to, because everyone is doing the same thing in this coaching space, right? Which is why, like, look at this: understanding humans and types of realities, how to use this research on humans to do killer market research, how to create killer offer deck, how to get eyeballs, understanding the core game of YouTube, and seeing like the first principles of YouTube inbound client acquisition, right? And it took me, bro, I don't know how many hours it took me to create this video, but anyways, a quick warning, not a cliche, this thing actually carries the capacity to manipulate anyone, so be ethical with it, right? Overview of the video is this for high ticket coaches, infopreneurs, all of these guys, right? Why will this work for you? Well, because it worked for me, as I showed you above. And it's based on never changing human psychology and behavior, which is the bedrock of all the client acquisition, right? But moreover, I think value is the best proof. So go through the video with me and decide for yourself. So, and if you do not like it, you can obviously dislike, but whatever. Note, this is gonna be boring again, like just like any other thing worth doing. But understand that you have to go through this video. There is no other choice, because like if you do not, then you stay at the same place, and maybe it will take a frick ton of time for you to book calls. If not, you probably might not book calls, right? So I guarantee you will have such a powerful advantage once you go through this video completely, right? So without any other further ado, let's just begin with it. So putting client acquisition into a picture, we will understand how humans work, how their brain works, how they are born and brought up as a kid, because no one paid attention to that kid, which is why like we have to. And once you pay attention to that kid, like booking calls will just be like effortless, because like even if you go to a therapy session, they always go to your childhood, right? That is what happens, and that is what we will do here. Once you understand that, I'm gonna explain you the game of YouTube and Instagram, and how to book calls from it, also the environment of YouTube as I told you, and how to use metrics to improve your system, right? So without any further ado, again, let's just begin with it, right? Understanding humans and types of realities that exist in this world. Understand that this is you in a therapy session with them, and you are going into their childhood to understand them as a kid, right? And once you understand them, you want to leverage it to book more calls, obviously ethically, as I told you, right? Understanding reality, well, it exists in two forms. So first form is nothing risk. So this is the first type of reality, and this is important to understand before you gain advantage over your competitors, right? Anyways, the first type of reality, which is nothingness, like trees, animals, houses, stars, right? So what I mean by this, all the things that you see, they are given meanings by human, or to be specific, the lens of the human through which they see the world, right? Everyone has a lens which is invisible, right? So for example, tree, big or small, human categorize it. Animals, grass eating or meat eating, humans categorize it. If there are no humans, there will be no judgment, and if there is no judgment, then things just exist and it still makes sense. And this type of reality, the nothingness, it is called the objective reality, right? What do I mean by it? Well, before, it was just house, right? If there were no humans, it was just a box that you live in. But humans categorize it now, which is like apartments, high rise, penthouse, right? So example again, water, salty or not, humans categorize it. Countries, India or Russia, is just land, right? But humans categorize it. So this is called subject objective reality, right? Just keep this in your mind, and once I tell you how to use it, this will be really helpful piece of the puzzle, right? Moving on to second type of reality, which is human's paradigm. So understand that each human have an invisible lens, as I told you above, which we will call paradigm, right? This lens can never be 100% same for two people, because no two people would have 100% same experiences no matter what, right? Now before we discuss the second type of reality, let me just first discuss on how this lens is made and how most likely your lens was made. So not just you will understand your audience, but yourself. Again, this is the therapy session that you are doing with your audience, right? So let's say that this is Joe, this boy, So Joe is 6 months old and really knows nothing about world, which means that he have no paradigm or lens to view the world. So he just thinks of house as just box to live in, right? And let's fast forward a few months later when Joe turns 1 year old. His parents decide to celebrate his first birthday to a different country. Let's just say Japan for no particular reasons, obviously, right? So just for context, when someone does not have a lens to view the world, which means that they are still absorbing things. So look at Joe like a sponge who just absorbs things subconsciously, like emotions, like motives, like desires and belief, right? So this is Joe, right? Now let's say Joe on this trip experiences a few things. So he experienced that people bow down to greet each other or give respect, right? Second thing, he understands that everyone like this noodle thing called ramen, right? Then he understands that people stop their car when the light turns red and starts moving again when it turns green, right? Now Joe, as a kid, is now starting to create his own lens or paradigm because he's seeing different things, he's absorbing them, and he's starting to create his lens, right? So before Joe had a lens, it was just food, right? Which was the first type of reality, and there was not much to it. But now, from his experiences, he concluded that ramen is the best food. But the caveat is, since Joe is new to this thing, he does not have much proof to call it the final truth. So as he grows up, different experiences that Joe will have will refine his lens or maybe even change his belief, you know, of like ramen is best food, because like maybe let's just say that he eats burger. So maybe he thinks that they are better, right? So this is how basically paradigms are formed. Obviously there is a lot more to it, but I think this is enough for you, right? Now since you understand that how the first type of reality, it was just food, but Joe categorized it and got a belief that ramen is best. So the second type of reality is called the subjective reality. This reality is based on people's personal perception, belief, experiences, assumptions, and a lot more things, right? Again, I don't know bro, how many times I'm just gonna say it, but just bear with me for a second and it's all gonna make sense, right? Now we have to understand humans. As I told you, we're gonna be seeing how people evolve from a kid to a grown-up person to which you have to sell. Why is this important? Because no one really gave importance to that kid, and as sad as it sounds, you have to understand them. And from a business perspective, you will gain immense advantage over your competitors, but also you will help your client get better results, right? So you have to understand your customers very well, because these are the guys that you have to serve at the end of the day. So let's bring back Joe. So between the ages of 0 and 18, just as we saw above, Joe will have like multiple different experiences which will build his foundation for his later personal belief, desires, goals, perception, and all of these things. Well, why between the ages of 0 and 18? As I said above, in reality he will keep refining his lens till the absolute end of his life. But just because a lot of people around the ages of 18 and 25 think they have seen the world, which is why, like, because of their ego, they stop evolving, they stop improving, and as a result of ego, they just stay at the same place all their life, right? Going back to the quick summary thing, well, Joe was born as a sponge, metaphorically, as I told you above, and was a sponge till the ages of 0 to 7 or 0 to 10. Why? Because like these are the ages where kids just absorb things rather than doing something with that information, right? Then with what information and inputs he gathered between the ages of 0 to 7 from his experiences, he will start using that input to give a shape of his personal lens, right? What do I mean by this? Look at it like this, right? Let's say that the experiences of Joe, his environment, his friend circle, are like a different paint colors. And once he turned, like, let's just say 14 or 15, so between the ages of 10 to 14 or 10 to 15, based on these paint colors, which are his different experiences or friend circle or whatever, he will create the best painting that he likes, right? Not what I like, but what he likes. And this process will happen multiple times in their life. So fast forward a few years later, this is Joe at 20, right? And this is the subjective reality, based on Joe's personal lens, as we talked above, right? So based on his experiences, he will have assumptions, and he will create conclusions of those experiences and assumptions, and from those conclusions he will have his belief, and then he's standing up here thinking that this is the actual reality of world. But in reality, what is the actual reality? Because like not everyone is gonna look at the world from Joe's lens, right? So the answer to this is perspective, right? Because like from my perspective, I think that burger are better than, I don't know, pizza, right? And from maybe your perspective, you think the opposite of it, right? So none of us is completely true or false, but it's just perspective, right? So now you understand that in reality, nothing is completely true or false, excluding exceptions, basically like Earth is round. Well, people are fighting on that also, but it's just perspective, right? And now you understand the child behind the person that you are trying to sell, and this is gonna be your immense advantage over your competitors, right? Because no one is gonna go to this depth, and if you have gone to this depth, now you understand your customer, how they are formed, right? So how to use this understanding of humans to do a killer market research? So now that you understand all of it, the thing is, if you're a high ticket coach, which you should be, but anyways, you must have realized that right now authenticity sells. So if you're creating YouTube videos, which you absolutely should be, to be authentic, you will have to separate yourself from word to word scripts, right? And the problem is your audience attention span is still way less than a goldfish, right? So to put things into action, you have to record videos with no script and still have to hold the attention of hundreds of people, even thousands of them, right? And the best way to instantly fix it is by using all of the understanding of humans and finding every little thing required about them, because I have created an in-depth research about you, just like I'm going to show you now, and it's 60 to 70 pages of Google Doc, and I know exactly what things I should say to you to book calls, which is why with just like 20 subscribers I booked more than 4 calls, right? I don't know how good or bad is that, right? And all of the understanding of realities and humans will now be your unimaginable edge against everyone in this space, right? Because everyone wants quick tactics, right? And you actually spend time going through the foundations, right? That no one talks about. But since you now understand the foundations, we can go on to tactics, right? So now, how do you actually do market research in a way that you understand your audience better than they understand themselves, right? Let me be very clear with you, right? I'm gonna be really blunt. If your service slash product does not help people change their life and you use this info, it will bite you in a way you probably cannot even fathom of, because like you basically will manipulate them to get money. And this is the worst thing that you can do with this information, right? You actually have to make sure that your service is actually up to the bar, right? So how do you do it? So step one is get a transcript of this video and put it into ChatGPT. Well, recently I think that Grok is better than GPT, but whichever one you prefer, right? Then download Carl Jung's Red Book from this website called Ocean PDF and upload it into same chat of GPT. Red Book is basically the kind of personal journal of Carl, right? And believe me, like it's gonna be really insane, right? Step third is upload your offer deck in the same chat. If you don't have this, really, what are you doing? Like, book a call with me, because like let your money work for you, right? Just based off of my offer deck and market research, I have helped my clients sign their first ever clients, right? So yeah, and then tell everything about your audience and service in extreme detail to ChatGPT and ask it to create an extremely detailed market research including all of these things. Really important. Take a screenshot of this, a lot of them, right? If you don't want to do this all by yourself, you can book a quick call with me, obviously from the first link in the description, right? So this is how you do insane market research, because like now you understand that how people actually take action, right? The thing is, like, people still can like get this market research, but they don't know how to use it. And now you know how to use it, right? Because you have spent time here, right? So next thing that we got to understand is how to create a killer offer. Well, Charlie Morgan says that markets do not saturate, offers do, right? The thing is, a lot of people do the same thing as me, but how I package it into my service matters a lot more than my actual service itself, right? Example, my offer, we help high ticket coaches, basically coaches consultant or whatever name you call yourself, make in between 5k to 30k, and we help them add 20k to 50k new monthly recurring revenue in just 120 days, right? And it's guaranteed that like you will get the result or you get your money back. Well, it takes a lot of like work. Anyways, like you can book a call from first link. Anyways, here's how to create banger offer. After you have done this insane market research, you basically understand everything. You understand their traumas, experiences, insecurities, latent conditions, and a lot of more things, right? Wait, so um, reread the market research you have done for your niche and understand their, like all these different things as I asked you to do. Now visualize and see how you can package your skill in a way that solves the problem. Even if you don't have the skill, don't worry about it, you're gonna acquire them, because there are two ways, like people really create offers. First way is they have a service. For example, like let's just say I'm a copywriter, so I will go to people and say like, hey, do you need emails, or hey, do you need sales pages? But in reality, let's just say I'm a copywriter, but they need ads, right? So I don't know how to write ads, which is why like I will learn how to write ads, and once I do, I will get clients very easily, right? So the thing is like the more time you spend on your skill, the easier it will be for you to get clients. And if you do not spend time on your skills, the difficult it will be to like acquire clients. And once you package it in a way that solves your problem and make it in a way that they can visualize it, it will basically be a killer offer, right? The thing is like you will never get this right on your first try. You have to refine it over time, and yeah, once you hit a killer offer, it's gonna be your $100 million offer, right? So now you know how to do market research and how to do offer deck, and I'm assuming that you now have both of these things. Now, how to get eyeballs from it? So in my opinion, this is probably the best platform to get eyeballs. Instagram, so how to create content on Instagram? Well, my thing is like really stupidly simple. Model the structure of your competitors who are getting results, and more comments is generally is equals to better content, almost. So in the thing that I'm doing, I would probably look up to like Charlie Morgan or some guys who are a bit smaller but still getting results, right? Just like these videos. So I would probably model something from this to create content that people freak with, right? And now comes the fun part, how to actually convert these followers to clients. But before that, like look, it's not really like rocket science to create content on Instagram. Just look at people and model their thing, right? So how to convert it? So we have like story sequences is the one way to really get the results, and these are like really simple, basically like it is just basically like kind of a sequence where like you introduce them to a problem through a story, and you just tell them to send you kind of a keyword, and once they do, you either book a call with them directly or you send them to a YouTube video, right? So a really big thing with this is like not putting big text block of text in between, just like just small text, because like people don't really like want to read that much. Now once they DM you the keyword, what will happen is like you can use some AI like ManyChats to put an automated reply. So here's the key part: if you're directing them towards a YouTube video, you have to make them feel special, right? And well, look bro, it all depends on like how warm your audience is. If you are posting daily content, you can directly book a call with them. If not, I would say like just send them to your YouTube, right? So to do this, you either can give a link to the video via Drive, something like this, and this works like really well, right? It works like a charm. Charlie Morgan uses this, right? So even though he says that he hate pitches, he pitch here, right? So they can book call from here. And then what he did was like he uploaded his YouTube video on the Google Drive, and now people will go to a Google Drive link, so they will think that this video is not on YouTube, and they just got access to something that is not available to many people, which is why like they will feel special. And if they feel special, guess what, you get their trust, and if you get their trust, you book call with them, right? Second way to convert followers into clients is inbound DMs. Just look at it like this: cold outreaching but to warm leads, right? The key points of like doing this, because like I really cannot give you a method, even though I have it for myself. If you want it, book a quick call with me. I've signed multiple clients from it, right? Key points: first thing is pattern interrupt. Second thing is be honest that this is a pitch. Third thing, value exchange, because any outreach the key to any outreach is perfect mixture of value and value and volume, right? Not any one but both, right? Or to make it simple, when value or volume are in equilibrium, if you're kind of a nerd, right? But anyways, that was the second way to do it. And the third way, really, this works really well, like it's almost kind of a cheat code and no one is using it. So you probably put an Instagram story something like this: I'm frustrated with these gurus gatekeeping information. So for the next 24 hours, you can book a quick 45-minute call with me personally if you want to scale your coaching business. Then you give the link and only 10 spots. And let's just say that it's like at $500, and like you get like what, 10 guys, it's $5,000 in one single day, right? Yes, it takes time, but it's like really kind of a cheat code and no one is talking about it. This is how you get eyeballs. Now is the main thing, because I personally don't use Instagram. I have booked calls with just YouTube, right? So first we have to understand the game, the environment of YouTube, right? Understanding the channel data. So whatever you watch on the same YouTube channel that you post from, it affects the YouTube data. I mean, it sounds complicated, but this is my channel, Manav Unfiltered, and from this channel I only watch videos of guys like Alex Hormozi, Iman, or Charlie, right? Because let's just say if I watch stand-up comedy videos from this channel, like it can mess up with who YouTube thinks your target audience is, right? And if that happens, not only you will have a bad CTR, but also a really bad watch time, and your video will die, right? So in my opinion, do not watch any entertainment video or like a video from different niche, because that could change YouTube data. On the other side, if possible, watch more of the videos of people who create videos on the same topic as you, which is why like I watch Sam Ovens, I watch Charlie Morgan, right? So it was really important for you to understand that. Second thing is how to come up with a killer idea for a video. Really important. We're gonna be learning exactly how to create a killer idea that your audience is trying to watch. Quick note, remember the foundation of the system is understanding humans in your niche. Again, it's really important. And I will paste a video in the I section so you can give me an extra view, but like it will help you. Anyhow, how do you actually come up with a killer idea? In my opinion, do not come up with a killer idea, because like in the beginning, your only goal should be to have proven way to get views and book calls, right? Example, this was Charlie Morgan's one of the most popular video, right? 73k views. So instead of copying anything, I just modeled this thing for myself, and this was my second video and it got 52 views, and it was a bottom of funnel video. How crazy is that, right? And in the value section of the video, both of the videos are completely different, like the way they should be, like, look bro, I'm not asking you to copy everything, I'm just saying that model the idea, right? You still have to make sure that you come out to be different. We are just taking a model idea, not copying the video, right? We're gonna talk more about it below and like after this section, but whatever. Caveat: find topics that actually interest you. Do not make any video for just the sake of you. It never works, right? The thing is, like, there will be some videos in which like you like that has gotten views, but it's not your interest. Do not create videos on that. The only reason I'm creating this video is because I want to, I like it, right? Method number 2 to come up with a killer idea, and this is like a kind of cheat code. So this app is called, or like this website is called vidIQ, right? And what happens is like you will have outlier videos in this section, and basically the videos that work a lot better than all the other videos, right? So model videos from this outlier section. So this video came up on my outlier section, which was like the only client acquisition needed for insurance agent. Modeled it for myself, the only client acquisition system high ticket coaches actually need. It shows 134 views, but it now has more than 300 views on the video, right? And this video alone have booked me like 2 to 3 calls, right? So really crazy thing. And this video became my most viewed video, right? And I would say like do not use this app for anything else. I used it, at least it did not work for me, right? Method number 3, how to actually come up with a killer idea, because only use this if you already have an established YouTube channel. If not, then skip this part. Sometimes you're not gonna find videos that you can model or whatever, which is why like you have to sometimes come up with your own thing, right? Not something that you should do naturally, but If you do not find any videos that interest you, then come to this method, right? Sometimes you will not find videos that interest you and you wouldn't want to make videos on them, right? Completely fair. If you come up with a new idea, the chances of your video going viral increases a lot, but also the chances of it having 10 views or 11 views also increases a lot, But anyways, at some point you have to come up with your own ideas. Here's how to do it. Mix what get you traction and what it interests you, right? So we're going to talk more about it in detail, but example like high ticket coaches, this is the thing that gets me traction, and the psychology secrets, this is what kind of interests me, right? So means personally for me, maybe like I like human psychology, and high ticket coaches is a keyword for my channel that gets me traction. At that time the channel was new, which is why like it got less views, but like it still is great, right? Third thing, thumbnail and packaging, it matters a lot. This matters a lot more than people think, It's not just to help you get clicks, but one of the biggest factors on if YouTube is gonna push your video or not, right? And like there's not much explained to it. Just use keywords in your title, just like I do, right? So if you got proof/testimonials, use them in titles, right? But in the end, it's very different for each person, which is why like there's not much I should comment on this, which is why like it's kind of like really, like it differs from person to person. Fourth thing is YouTube description and tags. Now this is another insanely important element. Look, after the title and thumbnail, the thing that comes into play is YouTube description. In description, you have to use tags at least in the beginning to let YouTube know your target audience. If you do not, YouTube will just randomly push your video towards different people, and what's gonna happen? You're gonna have bad CTR, bad watch time, and your video is gonna die, right? I struggled with it for a long time, But anyways, tags, I would say like use it in the beginning, but I would say like once your channel is established, it does not really make much of a difference if you're not creating video on some different topic, right? Next thing is impressions. Look, if you did your title, thumbnail, and description well, do not worry about this, right? You will automatically get impressions from the right people, right? Next thing is CTR. Again, if you have done this right, you will have good CTR. Average view duration, this is really important. Look, if you can nail this, if you can nail your hook, you might just have a chance to have an average view duration of 15 to 25%. If it's below this, YouTube usually does not push your video. Like my really simple formula to create really good hooks, because like right now on my video I would have a video of what, between 15 to 17%, right? Not really great, but also like borderline good, right? So first we create authority, then we have social proof and testimonials, just like I gave you. Then we tell them why is it important for them to watch the video right now, So this is the environment of YouTube in which you play your game. Now we move on to the first principles of YouTube client acquisition, the thing that everyone wanted, hopefully, right? Now, well, if you're watching the video till now, I would say like give me a quick comment, Let's see like how many people make it through here, because believe me, like no one will, right? First principles of YouTube client acquisition to book more calls. Now I'm assuming that all of you will probably have different niches, which is why like I'm gonna be talking in first principles, right? And again, just to remind you, I've booked more than like 4 calls by now with just like 20 subs, right? So let me just begin with the main thing: how to create YouTube videos that evokes the desired action from your audience, right? First principle, #1, pain, right? So try and imagine something like this, right? So this is the current situation of the person that you're trying to sell, and this is their desired situation, right? Bad health, bad relationship, bad money; good health, good relationship, good money. So between the current situation and the desired situation is the gap, and this gap is the pain that they are feeling, right? And look, this is something that a lot of people freak up. You cannot really create pain, right? You can only amplify the existing pain. So now your goal is just to find their pain and amplify it through your videos. Once you do, you will book calls with them. Because just to tell you what I did, I told you that to get clients, you have to understand human psychology, and you know who to come if you want to understand human psychology to get clients, me, right? And as a result of that, you will evoke action from your viewers, right? So how do you find the pain? Well, this is a person in your niche that you're trying to sell, and as we went through this whole big thing, you understand that they are made of traumas, desires, beliefs, latent triggers, and infinite more things, right? And these are the basic human needs, which is like physiological needs, safety and security, love and belonging, self-esteem, and a lot more things, right? So when, let's just say that this person, like they have their personal traumas, personal desires, personal belief, when these are mixed with like basic human needs, this creates pain slash problem, right? And this is how you find your audience pain slash problem, right? Now, how do you amplify this pain slash problem that you just found out about them? The best way to do it is let them think. If you let your audience think, they will take action because they will get to the conclusion that they want to book call with you, right? So here's how to do it, right? So this is the person, this is the video, and let's just say the goal of the video is to convey the message that using human psychology is the best way to sign clients. So let's say I posted this video in which the goal is to convey the message that human psychology is the best way to sign high ticket clients. Why? Because, for example, let's just say that my service combine human psychology with high ticket clients, right? Here's how I will convey my message, and I will have them feel this pain, right? So there is a reason why six-figure coaches steal your clients, because they understand your clients better than you understand them. And even if you do understand them, you're not able to make that personal relationship with them. And just because these six-figure coaches understand human psychology, they are able to create personal relationship with your clients, and which is why they can steal your clients, right? So I use jealousy as an emotion to create the fear of losing all of their remaining clients, and this is how pain is used. Use it ethically, right, to book calls and to change their life. Second first principle is confidence. The next roadblock of why people usually don't take action or book calls from your videos is because they lack the confidence in your ability to deliver on your services. So without any freaking long explanation, let me just give you some tactics. First way to induce confidence is through conviction. This is really, really, really important. Whatever claim you're making, say it with conviction. If you do not, it will be impossible for you to induce confidence, right? Because like, if I have results but I speak like I don't, people do not care about results, right? Second thing, which should be the first one, which is your offer. Most important thing, most important way to induce confidence into your audience: offer extremely desirable outcome and guarantees if possible, right? I already told you how to create offers, so I'm not gonna go in long. Third way is testimonials and social proof. Use them as much as possible. Self-explanatory, right? Third first principle, to book calls from YouTube is trust, right? Let me go to the basics, right? How do you trust a person? Well, when they share a secret or when you meet their family, especially parents, right? Basically, you trust a person the most when they share or do something for you that they don't do for everyone, correct? So how do you implement this in your business? Instagram is a one way to go about it. So for example, the first step is to post an IG story, something like this: hey, if you want to learn the best cold email template, DM me pop to get access to this video that is private on YouTube, right? Now we told them that if they DM us some keyword, we're gonna send them something special for them, right? Now psychologically, once they get this thing, they will be like, I just got access to something that no one else have. So we built a personal connection with them, right? Now this is the key part, the way you send your video, just like the Charlie Morgan thing, as I told you before, right? So this is how you do the hardest part in the easiest way possible. Now you know exactly how to induce action from your viewers, especially to book calls. Fourth thing, the most important rule: the bitter truth is YouTube has now gotten more and more difficult than it used to be. And the more you wait, the harder it gets, and that is why it becomes really important for you to set yourself apart from the crowd as soon as possible. Let me give you some bird level perspective of what is happening. Everyone is just saying the same thing, right? This is the best outreach method, or Instagram story sequence, or this is the best way to get clients, right? Everyone knows these things. If you're just saying the same stuff to people, you are just another person making videos on topics and trying to create and trying to get their money, right? Understand that if you keep saying the same shit, you are just another noise in the market for your audience, right? You have to be the black sheep in your niche to differentiate yourself from the crowd. So the big question is, how do you do it? To differentiate yourself from the people, In my opinion, the best way is by defining your YouTube pillars. What are those? Well, let me explain this through an example. So this is probably Charlie Morgan's YouTube pillars: client acquisition, human psychology, productivity and focus, and mindset. These are the pillars that makes him unique, and in a way that Charlie Morgan is just himself, right? If anyone tries to copy him, they will fail miserably, right? And this is the same thing that you have to do. Now, once you understand your YouTube pillars, and I will tell you exactly how to do it, you come out to be unique every single time, right? For example, my videos, even if I keep freaking with my YouTube pillars, but my content every time just comes out to be different than everyone else in the market. It could be better or worse in terms of value, but it's just different than, like what people actually put online, right? Note, these are not fixed. You can change them in the future. For now, just understand that which topic interests you naturally and where you can easily eat your competition. Once you understand these things, you can create YouTube pillars around those topics, right? And just imagine that once you do it, you will be so far different from these guys who just keep saying that AI is the future or the best business model, right? Next thing, creating the chain. You have to know the purpose of the video, right? Even if it's to book call, you have to understand the idea of the video insanely well, right? Then and only then you can begin with creating this chain of belief, which is really, really, really important. Do not skip this, because related to the idea that you're creating video on, people will have some limiting belief or false belief, and you either have to debunk those beliefs or replace those beliefs, right? So example, this is the video, right? Now wait, let me just zoom in, right? So I will probably follow this chain of belief. I will offer you something, a really desirable outcome. Then I will try and put it in your mind that I am different than everyone else. He's just authentic and sensible. Then I will try and tell you you can't ever do it all by yourself, right? Then I will show you that this system is what you need. I will create a system, right? And then basically I will try and convince you that you have a crush on me, right? Not in a gay way, but whatever, then you will book a call with me, right? So understand that chain of belief is really important step in creating killer videos. So here's how to do it. Step 1, define the audience. Understand the people in your niche as well as you can, as I told you before. Step 2, create a desired outcome from the video. State the end goal, results from it. Step 3, understand the false belief or limiting belief that your audience might have related to those desired outcomes, and either replace those beliefs or debunk them, right? And yeah, that was it for the video. Really, really, really long thing, but I hope it really made sense, right? If you like the video, there is a button for it below. If you want to subscribe it, you can do if you want. Really important thing, if you got an idea in your mind and you want me to create video on it, just let me know in the comments, and if I can, I will, right? So yeah.